Coming up, a Sad Styles production. Get into it!
Look at these two Canadian boys over here.
Yeah.
You got your toque on.
I've got my toque on.
I've got my lumberjack gear on. You know, I was once walking down the street the other day, and I had this lumberjack type shirt on.
Did you wash it since then?
How do you do? What do you mean?
Okay.
You mean like take it in the shower with you or what?
Yeah, 100%. When I go to your crying box and wear your clothes.
Crying Box, the sequel to Bird Box, right? The crossover we were always hoping for. Crying Games.
Oh my God. I was going to say something like Ron Burgundy calls a phone booth, but...
no, so I was walking down the street with my flannel on.
Just the other day.
That's a Slick Rick line, I think. And some guy was riding his bike and he was stopped at a red light and I was going past him. And he was wearing a flannel shirt as well.
Oh, nice.
So I looked at him and I pointed, I was like, hey, nice shirt. And he looked so disgusted at me. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, that's funny because this is a very common shirt to wear. Like,
yes.
It's, I don't know.
I love the idea that, he's like, oh, I didn't get the message about flannel shirt day. And he just looks you straight in the eyes and goes,
Go fuck yourself.
You. It's like, what the fuck? Welcome to the Retrograde
podcast where we remind you what you used to love and whether or not you still should.
I'm Andrew Bascom, and with me, as always, is the bad boy of podcasting, Mr. Bebop himself,
Mycolian Aaronworth.
That is Mikey Aaronworth, and we're back for another week of the Retrograde podcast.
Another week of the Retrograde podcast. The reason why I am Mycolian Aaronworth is because it sounds like Mongolian, which is one of the civilizations that you can play as in this week's game. Which, Andrew, why don't I let you introduce the game?
Yeah.
I think this is one of your favorite franchises of all time.
I think it might be one of the franchises that I've put the most time into, which is crazy to think about.
That you lawyered up your answer on that one.
I don't want anyone coming at me, okay?
Okay.
I'm Michael Claytoning my way through this one really hard.
Yeah.
It's Age of Empires 4. 4.
Oh, I thought it was Age of Empires IV because I want to inject it directly into my veins.
I'm mainlining some Age of Empires on this week's Retrograde. I'm so excited to be playing the new Age of Empires. We talked about it. We've talked about it for years, seemingly now.
Oh, hell yeah. Since 2017 when it was first
because
announced.
we did Age of Empires 2.
Yes.
And then around that time, it was announced that there was going to be another one coming up.
Right.
Oddly enough, through a Bill Gates AMA, I think we brought this up recently.
You mentioned that. I didn't hear anything about this story, but tell that story again.
So Bill Gates was doing an AMA on Reddit, which is Ask Me Anything. Just
I thought it was Ass Mouth Ass. It was like a butt 69.
Well, based on some of the recent emails that Bill Gates has now been revealed, that wouldn't be shocking. But yeah, no, one of the things that got upvoted the most, actually, some of these things sometimes with the AMAs and celebrities is so funny to me. Like Woody Harrelson had one, like really, like back in the day when Reddit was like, not going to say, like not as corporate as it is now.
Yes.
And a big one was that like, you slept with my friend with university when you came to visit like 10 years ago for a movie tour of it. And it just kept getting upvoted to the top and you just stopped doing it. You just like walked away. So Bill Gates was the same issue, except instead of sleep with my friend, it's like, hey, can you make Age of Empires 4? And it kept getting upvoted. And he like eventually had to reply to it and go like, I'll look into it.
It would be so cool to be powerful enough to just be like on stage, just like cover the mic and be like, hey, can we make that? Yeah. Okay. Hey, Leslie, put that down. Make Age of Empires 4. Okay. Next question. Like that would be phenomenal. If you could do that, what game would it be?
It'd probably be Age of Empires 4, but maybe I was Leslie in this situation. I'm like, you got it, Bill.
Fair.
That's a really good question. What would you say?
Honestly, it might, and this may still happen. I don't know, but a third BioShock would be, and I know there's a BioShock 2, but like, is there
canonically?
Canonically, yeah. A different BioShock. I think the only shitty thing is it would have to be in space. Like, I don't know where else it would be.
Yeah, because we did the sea, we did the sky.
Yeah, either underground, so you're a chud. You could be a chud. BioShock chud.
Yeah, and that's when the chuds got me. See, that would be so good. Because otherwise, all the modern franchises are going to burn them into the ground until they suck. Like we're going to get a Last of Us 3. We are going to get
100%.
The big one that they always talked about was Uncharted. And because I forget his name from Naughty Dog, was the one that was said like, no.
Neil Drucker?
Neil Drucker.
Yeah.
Was like, this is the last Nathan Drake Uncharted.
Yeah.
And I even at the time, I'm like, yeah, okay. Like
dude, they said that about Halo 3.
Yeah.
They said that about Halo 3 and everyone was like, well, Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Just pat him on the head. Yeah, okay,
And
very
like
good.
a year
yeah.
later, they're like, guess who's coming back? Master Chief enters the arena. And you're like, dude.
At Comic-Con, just kicks open the hall doors. Look who it is. It's Master. Everyone's like, yeah, no, I know. Okay, good. Humor them.
There was an E3 presentation once. I think they were doing Star Wars Battlefront, whatever.
Cool.
And on the PSP, I think, and Chewbacca came out playing a PSP, and I was like, this is the weirdest timeline that we're on right now. And shit got so much weirder since then.
So much weirder. You thought Chewbacca holding and hawking a PSP. I just love the idea that the Chewbacca would
He's not hawking, he's
Well, exactly. He walks in, holds it above his head like triumphantly, and goes, "Ugh," and then goes, hello, everybody. Please buy a PSP. And you're like, whoa, Chewbacca. He learned
PSP
English.
now with translation capabilities. Listen, if you're unsure what the fuck we're talking about,
Yes.
typically what we like to do on this podcast is take a look back at the games that we used to play when we were kids. Usually it's something that had an effect on us one way or
Yep.
another, something we had some affinity towards. We rate and review the game as we remember it back in the day, take a little bit of a break, play the game, play you some of that audio or video. You can go watch us on
Yes,
YouTube as well.
please
That's
do.
relatively new. Then come back and rate and review the game as it stands up in the modern day against like the modern games. But before we do that, we like to take a swift left turn and talk nonsense for a while, which is what we're doing right now.
Well, luckily, we can talk about our nonsense supporting the game of the week, which is Reddit AMAs with Bill Gates and Woody Harrelson nailing university students, I guess, or something
Honestly,
like that.
like, do you do that thing? And at a certain age, I have to stop because it's not going to be real for me. But I used to give interviews as though I were a celebrity in my head.
Oh, for sure.
I'd be,
yeah.
I'd be asked questions, and I answered the questions in such a perfect way.
Nice.
Every time. I was
You'll be
so
ready
good
when
at
it happens.
I will be ready
Yeah.
when it happens. Not if,
When.
but when.
Yeah.
And I thought like doing an AMA would just be the greatest thing ever. I guess for my ego would be a qualifier, but like in general, I would love doing that.
That is the kindling to stoke your ego flame.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ego Flame was my band in high school, by the way.
Ego flame.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
It's not bad.
Yeah,
It's
I
not
like
bad.
it. Ego flame sounds like a villain in like Final Fantasy or something like that.
I was gonna get more like
Carries
a
a big
Virtua
sword.
Fighter or something
Yeah,
like that.
that's
he
true.
looks. I mean, tigers have been taken. He probably has a shark head or something like that.
Yeah.
It's ironic because a shark can't be lit on fire. They're always in. I mean, if a shark's lit on fire, how'd you get yourself in that situation?
We got some big issues going on here, man.
This is the one time where victim blaming I think makes sense.
Exxon Valdez. That's an immediate point towards them. What did you do? It wasn't us. I don't believe you. I think about that because, complete swift left turn. The MCU
Yes.
has an interesting couple of months coming up.
Oh
here.
yeah, hell yeah.
So they've got the Eternals, and it might be
Which
one of
just
their
came out last week.
last week, and it might be one of their first flops. I don't mean that financially because I'm sure it'll be just fine.
Yeah.
But I mean critically, it seems to be one of the first movies that's not everyone's like, great,
So
love
I
it.
saw one article that mentioned that,
Yeah.
and I didn't know if it was true or not. But is that getting some traction? I try not to look these up before I see them.
I'm gonna see it.
of
Because
course,
I think Chloe Zhao is a pretty visual, like incredibly visual director, and I think that should be very interesting for
It
her take on.
surprised me that she cast Frances McDormand as
Yeah.
one of the main
Thanos' mother, yeah.
Thanos'
Yeah,
mother,
yeah.
and she just travels.
Thanos grabs him by the ear, walks him back into the house. What do you think you're doing?
Well, I couldn't believe when she got her hands on that Infinity Gauntlet,
Yeah,
and she
right.
needed a job at the Amazon warehouse, and she snapped 50% of the workers out, and then just strolled up there demanding $20 an hour. That was a power move.
It really is. You have all the power in the world, and that's what you did with it.
That's what you did with
Very
it.
interesting.
It's kind of respectful. I mean, I don't know what happened to these Amazon workers. They may not have been happy in the first place based on the movie she was in. It seems like she may have done them a favor. Nomadland. Yeah. Now they're true nomads. They're stuck in the ether.
Well, it's a good reference because both Chloe Zhao and Frances McDormand. Wow, look
Exactly.
at you, just like circling every box there.
Well, that's why I said Frances McDormand,
Oh, very good.
because Chloe Zhao.
Ah,
Yeah.
well, sorry I'm late to the party, everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, like they might have their first flop on their hands, which fine.
Yeah.
Like if it was gonna be anything, it was gonna be the one where like, have you heard of none of these characters?
Yes.
Great. There
Exactly.
you go. Like also like Guardians of the Galaxy, they were like, hey, make it weird. You can do whatever you want with it. Cool. This one's like, hey, these are gods. You have to take it very seriously. It's like
They're going too much on the other side of the supernatural. I mean, when you have I was worried about it with Doctor Strange, but they grounded it in New York City and like they made it human. I mean, not the whole movie, but
Yep,
eventually it was a very Earth type thing.
Yeah.
Dealing with gods, man, when there's nothing to kind of ground them to earth, it just makes it so much less relatable.
Yeah.
That I'm like, I don't know how interested I am in this.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. Like, it's just so, it looks so dour, and like, even for like such a, like we were saying, a visual director, is that like, it looks so like gray, and you're like, why did they do it like this? So I'm interested that, who cares? Spider-Man's the next one. It's going to make $70 billion. So it's like a really good way to make it back. So I think like if anyone's like writing the obituary, I think they need to like chill out for a second.
Yeah.
But I was saying, because we were talking about Flame Ego or Eagle Flame.
Eagle Flame.
And I was thinking about how like when the MCU gets their hands on Fantastic Four, which is coming soon.
Oh yeah.
And Johnny Storm says flame on for the first time. One of the stupidest things now in 2021. You hear someone go like flame on and you gotta go, fuck yeah. They're going to do it. And in the theater, people are going to go, oh my God, fuck yeah. And I don't know how they're going to do it, but man, they're good at what they do.
Do you think, now here's the question. This is a bet we got to place right now.
Okay, I'm here.
Do you think, because this is the way that everything is written nowadays, and I think it's kind of Marvel's fault. Do you think he says flame on and someone says, what the fuck did you just say?
The Thing looks at him and goes like, what do you think?
Seriously? Flame on?
Yeah. Ooh, so
I don't
tough.
know. It just came to me.
Or Doctor Strange probably actually.
Yeah,
Sounds like Doctor Strange.
yeah.
Like, are you serious with this?
And it's going to be Doctor Strange saying, are you serious? Or are you serious? Flame on with his accent. And then he's going to...
I'm from New York.
And then he's going to say the name of another spell, and that's going to be the funny thing.
Yes.
Like,
that's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah.
My guess on how they do it, see, this is a good idea. My guess on how they do it is he goes like, originally when he gets his powers or something like that, he'll go flame on and people will snicker or something like that and you like make fun of him and we'll do this whole talk.
Yes.
And then somehow later in the movie, he has to do it, but it's very serious and it works and it's like inspiring and the music swells and he's like flame on. And it just like rips serious ass in the room and just like.
I like that.
Yeah. See, I think that's what
that like using the voice in Dune or something like that.
Yes.
When it works, which we had on the Mushroom Club a week or so ago. We released an episode with a bunch of spoilers for Dune, a deep dive and analysis on the movie Dune. That's patreon.com/retrograde podcast. It's our Patreon account. It's about $5 a month US. 2 episodes per month. Usually we do more than that.
Usually, yes.
In fact, I think in Halloween, or not Halloween, it was September. We did one a week. It was pretty intense. And we talked about that. The one thing we didn't mention is how well the voice is filmed in that movie. It's so impactful, and the quiet with the heavy bass, like you're standing outside of a club or something like that.
That's actually a good comparison. The echo to it too.
Yeah.
I think the other thing that they do, which really works, is I think they move the audio up like a couple of frames, so you hear the audio before you see the action, and so it is very startling every time. You're like, whoa, because before you see his lips move, you hear the audio in your head, and you're like, whoa, that's scary.
It's really cool, man. That movie, the more I think about it, the more I really fucking loved it. And to get more of our thoughts on that, head over to the Mushroom Club. We'd love to build that community out a little bit. Andrew, let's talk a little bit. Speaking of building communities, let's start with a couple villagers. Cut down some trees. Do you think the villagers spoke Simlish? Sounds like Sims.
Yeah, 100%. So that's like always famously the priest when he's like converting people is Wololo. Which is the noise I think I made when I found out that Age of Empires 4 was coming out. Whoa. I think so, and obviously, they're collecting the most important things, which are meat.
Yes.
Trees.
Gold. Rocks.
Where would we be without these 4 things?
I love it. It's like if I were a villager. Yeah. Because this isn't like Blood Diamond. There's no one watching these villagers. We just set them out to fields of gold.
Yeah.
If I'm a villager, I'm like, yes, sir, Mikey, sir. And I just walk over to the gold. I would pocket like 3 nuggets and just walk straight to the enemies and be like, can I just live here? I got a bunch of gold.
Yes.
I'll show you where the rest of it is. Just let me use this gold and be rich.
You get to the other side and they're like, absolutely. All right, go get more gold. And you're like, I got to get more gold for you now too? Is gold like really important here?
Imagine you lose one villager and you're fighting with the other civilization. And then like a couple years later, another army comes. You're like, what the fuck? And this villager started with all their little patch of gold, a whole new group.
How did you start with one person? I can't get into the logistics of this, of human creation.
Yeah, how did human creation start with just Adam?
Yeah.
Riddle me this.
Did they have a town center? Were they just, building a queue of villagers? Oh man, I'm so excited to play this game.
We're getting a little bit mythological. Did you ever play the Age of Mythology series?
I did play the Age of Mythology.
Did you like that?
I did. I liked it a lot.
That feels like I would have had a lot of fun with it, but I've never really played it.
Really?
Yeah.
I was surprised to hear that.
Well, actually, we should draw attention to the fact that this is a retro gaming podcast, but we're doing Age of Empires 4. I think because the reason why this game is so exciting to a lot of us is it's reiterating a formula that has kind of been passed by the wayside. No one really makes real-time strategies in this way anymore. So I wonder if they're going to maintain that formula. And if they do, I think we're in good hands, Andrew. But you and I were kind of talking before we started recording about what could potentially go wrong with this game.
Yeah, because so Diablo also came out recently too.
Yes, the remastered Diablo.
The remastered, and so like.
By the way, sorry, before you answer that, last year we had predictions on what would happen this year, and we threw out. I bet you Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4 don't get released this year, and look who's right.
Yeah,
we are. We also predicted the lawsuit at Blizzard. No, we didn't actually.
COVID got us right by surprise.
Right. Yeah.
Like, no, I agree with you. Like we talked about before is saying, you feel so smart sometimes going like, you're sitting on $1 billion idea, just remake this thing that people love.
Yes.
And that happens all the time and doesn't make a ripple at all.
Right.
You look back at some of your favorite movies ever, and you're like, they remade that? Like somebody was saying this on a podcast recently. They remade Jacob's Ladder. And I was like,
I heard that.
And it was like in 2019. And I'm like, I didn't even hear that came out. It just came out, went away. No one did. But it was like it was a great idea at the time.
Was it?
But like, here's what we're talking about though.
Yeah.
We're talking about something that people loved, Age of Empires.
Yes.
And they're going to do essentially a remastered new version. And you go, so you go, how are they going to fuck this up?
Yes.
Here's how we think they're going to fuck this up.
That's a good point.
We haven't talked about this though. So do you want to go back and forth a little bit on some ideas?
I do want to go back and forth. And this one, I'm putting this together because this game was remade by, the original one in 1997, Age of Empires. And most of the Age of Empires games that we know were made by Ensemble Studios, but they closed in 2009. So they needed to bring, RIP for
Rest
sure.
in power.
No, peace for me. It's peace. I don't want them to be too powerful because once my enemies are dead, I want to kind of throw them away.
It's like William Wallace. I want to quarter them and put them in 4 different parts of the country.
Yes.
Just in case they will T2 and come together.
Can we make a commitment to one another?
So what's that? I promise to quarter you and send you into 4 different parts of the country?
Yes. But here's a question that I have.
On your death, Wink. Sorry. Sorry.
Don't call me Wink. I'm not going to get into I'm not going to talk about Wink Yahoo.
Do you want to explain again for the 5th time?
Listen, ooze was a big thing in the 90s.
People couldn't get enough ooze.
They wanted ooze, and not just the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. You thought gold is important in Age of Empires? Ooze was a currency upon itself in the 90s.
The funniest thing is there probably was a company that made all of Nickelodeon's ooze. And they they and the CD Jewel Case company, once CDs just fell off, are just nowhere. They're roaming like nomad land.
2020, the guy's like, do you still want some fidget spinners? You're like, fuck off. Like, really 2 years ago. There's a Simpsons joke for everything, but that's the Simpsons joke of Homer buys stock in pumpkins in September.
Oh, yeah.
And then tries to buy more in November. He's like, it'll never end in November. And like goes broke. Same thing.
No, so I have a question about quartering. Because I'm thinking when you quarter, it's just the arms. Is there nothing left over, or is it a wishbone situation where everything kind of goes with one of the limbs or another?
I think quartering is a literal term where they split you into 4.
4, right.
Yeah.
But like, what happens to the torso?
I think
you just make 2 cuts? One horizontal,
so Mikey's
one vertical?
making one through his face and then one through his waist.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I think it is a wishbone situation now that I understand the analogies because
a piece of meat is going to be
the head's going with one side. Yeah. I don't think you split the head in the middle. I think the head's like, do you think the 2 guys on the horses were like, lucky me. Yeah.
Maybe you get to make the wish.
Yes. Maybe my children won't die of cholera or whatever.
I hope one day Javier Bardem makes a movie about how hard it is to love someone these days. Love in the time of cholera.
Oh, absolutely. Sorry. But yes.
So my whole thinking about how this game could go wrong, I mentioned that Ensemble Studios is the one that made it. They got drawn, quartered, and scattered across the country in 2009. Age of Empires 4, developed by Relic. Now, Relic, another week where we're talking about a Canadian video game development studio. Very impressive.
The streak continues.
The streak continues. It was published by Xbox Games. They created a new sort of sub-studio called World's Edge to oversee development. But Relic, and I'm going to get into how I think this game can be messed up, formerly THQ Canada.
Oh, okay.
Made a game called Company of Heroes, which I don't know if you ever played Company of Heroes.
I never played Company of Heroes.
Real-time strategy game that was focused on, you know how Command and Conquer was kind of like out there military, like super technologically advanced.
Tesla coils.
Yeah, exactly. This was very grounded. It was a World War II real-time strategy
Like Chuds?
game. Like Chuds. You have underneath the ground, you have like your regular gunners. They've got the M1 Garens. no big deal.
Right.
But then from under the ground,
The mole people attack.
mole people attack.
Just ripping them down under the ground. Oh God,
And
John!
you never know where they are. It's
Yes.
a really hard game.
Oh my God.
But so people fucking loved Company of Heroes.
Okay.
But it kind of started, I don't know if it started this, but it was around the time when real-time strategy games started to get a different sensibility to them, different mechanics, where it was kind of more campaign-based.
Okay.
You know, it's not like base building and then moving on. It's war. So you're kind of, you're starting somewhere, you're in a company of heroes, as it were, and you're trying to, get to another place or take over a waypoint or something like that. So your resources are limited. You're not cutting down trees. It is more about tactically using the units that you have. And then I remember the Lord of the Rings real-time strategy game used a similar one. Star Wars Galactic Battle, or no, that was before. But this new style of real-time strategy game is actually what turned me off of the franchise. So at first when I saw, Relic, that's the company that made Company of Heroes, Age of Empires 4 is going to be fantastic, I worried that they would change the formula that we know and love in more of a campaign aesthetic.
Right.
Do away with some of the base building and resource management and focus more on using your units that you've been allotted in order to take over. If that happens, I think that could mess it up for those of us who just want the retro experience.
So that gets us back to the question of how do you think people will screw this up? You know, at the end of the day, like, people think, just give me the new version of the thing I love.
Yes.
And really, that is a bad strategy, because we've done this on the podcast before. You just trotted out the same game.
Yes.
And you get punished for it, right?
The weirdest thing is you trotted it out, and attached to the horse you were trotting out on, there was half a leg. William, what are you doing?
Which one did I get? Right leg. Aw. It's the same thing. You get punished for it, because we already have this. Why do you need to buy Age of Empires 4? We have a perfectly good Age of Empires at home too, and it worked.
And the definitive edition.
Yes,
if you
exactly.
want it.
And it's beautiful, and it's on, the beautiful graphics and stuff like that.
Right.
You have to advance it while staying true to the original, idea of what made the game fun to play in the first place, while improving slightly on some. And there is areas that they can improve.
Yes.
But it's just more that you have to find that balance. And I think that's a lot trickier than people will give it credit for.
That is a tightrope I would never want to have to walk, because you have to bring something in the modern era while acknowledging the retro limitations that made it what it was. You can't just make everything analog digital and expect it to feel the same.
Totally.
You just don't get that anymore. It's why people go back and listen to vinyl records. There's something tactile that you just can't translate. And if they try to improve too much, I think they lose some of that. The problem is, there's a very limited area of what improvements you can make to make the formula better without not making enough and making it just feel like a rehash of Age of Empires 2. And as much as people say they want that, I don't think they want that.
And you know what a really good example of that is? We keep saying Age of Empires 2.
Yes.
This is Age of Empires 4. There's tried doing this already. They made 3. They made some advancements. It didn't work. There was like weird thing about like home cities. They got you cards and you could advance things. That's like a part I remember. And like, it also splintered the game a little bit more, so you weren't always operating, for the most part, operationally from every civilization the same way. It got way too branched out, and I think that's one of the things that people didn't like about it.
Overly complicating it. And that is one of the reasons why I got away from real-time strategies. I loved that idea of resource management. It's such a simplistic reward mechanism that I think is very easy to overcomplicate. But when you look at like mobile games now, like Simpsons Tapped Out or all these games where it expects you to just collect for the sake of collecting so that tomorrow you can collect more than you collected today.
Yeah. You mean Neopets?
Neopets would be a great one. I wonder if I still have that Neo currency. Who knows?
You open up the web browser for your Neopet and it's just a skeleton of a little animal. You're like, oh no. The digital authorities are looking after you for animal cruelty.
It's just a message to your inbox. We found you. Oh shit, there's a knock at your door.
Made a big mistake, asshole. Bringing your face around here after what you did to Scruffy.
For me, it would be insider trading, because I played the stock market in Neopets all the time, and I'd feel like maybe I fucked something up there. I made a lot of money on the stock markets in Neopets.
Good for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. What is the conversion rate for Neopet dollars to Bitcoin?
Oh man, if you tokenized Neopet dollar. It may have already happened. Like if there's a Neo dollar or something like that.
I'm sure there is, and it's worth $30,000 a dollar.
100%.
A Canadian dollar.
So I want to talk about that a little bit because you mentioned Age of Empires 3 and how we barely want to mention it.
Can I just say too, if you're listening to this, we're doing a modern game. We usually do retro games. Mikey said that already. Go back and listen to our episode of Age of Empires 2. I would just
back forever ago.
100%. I would pause this, go listen to that then, and then come back here because I think it'll be important to have like a compendium or like
and we apologize in advance for the audio quality, but the quality of the banter ain't nothing changed.
Yeah, nothing's changed except the audio quality's gotten better. We're still
and we're
the
more
same.
tired. So Age of Empires 3. Okay, let's go from the beginning. First game, Age of Empires 1. We'll do a quick recap because we would have done a lot of this when we did Age of Empires 2. But Age of Empires 1 came out in 1997. That's Stone Age to Iron Age. Age of Empires 2 was 1999, about the Middle Ages, more or less. Age of Empires 3 was a big gap. It didn't come out until 2005. Early modern period, so Europe colonizing the Americas.
Yes.
Now, Age of Empires 4 comes out, and and here's one of the things that worries me, 4 campaigns. So I'm like, is this campaign focused? It could be. You've got the Normans. I'm assuming that means that you have to kill your mother and then dress up as her as people visit your motel. I'm not sure. You have the 100 Years' War, which is England versus France.
Yes.
You've got the Mongol Empire. Well,
Mongolia?
Mycolia Aaronworth.
Mongolia Aaronworth, yes, very good.
And then you have the Rise of Moscow, which I'm very...
Whoa,
that's
very
cool.
cool.
That's when he plays the Rus. So we'll see how it goes, but you kind of talked about this already. You know, the original Age of Empires, I think, was like an 88%. Age of Empires on Metacritic. Age of Empires 2 was like a 92.
Yeah.
And then Age of Empires 3 was an 82%. And there was a big dip. And I think you kind of explained why that was, is they tried to modernize it, and that isn't what people remembered about Age of Empires 2. And it'll be curious to see whether they even draw back a little bit from Age of Empires 3 in 4, understanding that some people want that streamlined approach to real-time strategy games that I kind of pine after.
Yeah, like I'm trying to think of like 1 to 2, it was the advancements of making the gameplay more fun instead of making the world bigger.
True.
1 to 2,
and I say all the time, and I know you know this because I pop this trumpet always.
Pop this trumpet.
I pop this trumpet always.
Yeah, Louis Armstrong over here just popping trumpets.
Yeah. I just put firecrackers in them and throw them at cats.
Oh no!
Yeah,
There's a whole Netflix documentary not to do this. Listen, they missed a key chapter of that documentary. Etobicoke?
Etobicoke?
You never heard that part of it?
No.
So, okay, if you don't know what I'm talking about, Etobicoke is a suburb of Toronto.
Yes.
And they did not nail that pronunciation. They said it about 5 or 6 times. It was Etobicoke, and I'm like, people like in Canada loved that. That was great.
Etobicoke. Granted, we're wrong for pronouncing it.
Oh, it's a weird name.
Yeah.
It's like, it doesn't make any sense, phonetically, but,
Yeah.
It's called research also, too. Like, I don't want to give them a clean pass on this. It's not like they said it briefly once, what I mean?
Yeah.
Whatever. Sorry, yes.
So I do want to go back because, there's not too much I want to talk about with the game itself because we're going to learn a lot about it. I haven't played Age of Empires 4 yet. You haven't played it, Andrew. It's available on Game Pass. If you want to go play along with us online, feel free to do so. The franchise has sold over 25 million copies. That's fucking very
popular.
Very impressive. But I have a question because Ensemble Studios, when they were making this game originally, started to branch off a little bit. They made a Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds game, which I kind of mentioned earlier, a Halo game as well. And it got me thinking about real-time strategy games that the world doesn't have based on properties that we think might warrant having a real-time strategy. Is there anything that you can think of, any franchises you think could warrant the real-time strategy treatment?
Man, that is a really good question. I think Dune would be a really interesting, because I think
Dune would be great.
Yes, because what you got to think is you got to get away from individual heroes. So like MCU or something like that we just talked about.
That would be a MOBA. Like that would be a MOBA more than a real-time strategy.
It's tough because you have one person that's much more powerful. You have to think of groups or, houses or Game of Thrones.
Yeah. That was going to be one example I had, Game of Thrones. Yeah.
You got to think of groups of people that are powerful and that's how they battle each other instead of Iron Man and the collection of Stark Industries. It has to be a group of people that are very strong together. And it's tough because in the world of, Test 21 with all this IP, to think that we would think of something that they were not a back burner, but Game of Thrones for sure.
Yes.
Lord of the Rings you already brought up. That's already a game.
That's already one. Yep.
Dune we just did because it's houses and you go to different lands. So that makes a lot of sense.
And all of them are comparable with different technologies. That's always fun.
See, that's a good idea.
I was thinking, I know that we have Pokemon Unite, but imagine Pokemon, but territory based.
Okay.
Like Johto versus.
Oh.
And you just get to breed as many Pikachu as you want. And that's when.
So you send in an army of 30 Pikachu?
Oh, Andrew, way more than that. We're talking about taking over a civilization. I'm saying 30,000 Pikachu.
Oh, God. 30,000 Pikachu.
Uh-huh.
That is too many Pikachu.
Well, you're not going to want to hear how many Onix we're sending with them.
I just love the idea that the Onix are now like battle destroyer things, and there's like 10,000 Pikachu standing on top of an Onix, like pointing towards like Washington across the Potomac.
Here's the thing that I don't get. Like,
here's the thing.
In Pokemon.
Okay.
There's one thing I don't understand. In Pokemon.
Yeah.
Onix are made of rocks. Mm-hmm. I don't think they have blood and guts.
Right.
They are rocks.
They're rocks.
But if two Onix birth another Onix,
right,
they don't get smaller. But that Onix grows rocks.
Right.
Where are these rocks coming from?
Okay, in this hypothetical, well, I guess not hypothetical because it's a real thing. It's Pokemon.
Yes.
The birthing and conceiving situation is similar to humans.
It's exactly the same as humans.
It's exactly the same.
They have to be married.
They live in a Christian household. So
the father goes to work.
So an Onix penis and an Onix vagina.
Yes.
Mate.
Only when the whole body's mate.
Well, I don't know.
Penises do interact.
I don't know. Is there a sheet with a hole in it? I don't know.
That's not Christian household.
Well, it's a Judeo-Christian household.
Exactly. Yeah, there you go.
Yes. Okay. So the Onix
yes
is holding the woman Onyx's hand as she goes through labor and to birth out another Onix. And the Onix that she's giving birth.
Listen, you're kind of skirting the fact that Dr. Onix is in there as well.
Yes. The silver circle around his head.
Around his head, yeah.
And he's like, you're doing great. Please keep breathing. And she gives birth to an Onix the same size as her.
Well, no, it's smaller, but then it grows eventually.
It does grow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But how does it amass more rock? Where is this rock coming from? There's only a limited amount of rock on this rock we call Earth.
Well, ask the villagers of Age of Empires. Yeah. I don't know, Mikey, because like also if somebody said, how do humans get bigger? I'd go, I have no idea. How do their bones get bigger? But because their bones are their money. But I don't like, how do bones get bigger?
Do we just steal some mass from all the food we eat? Is that why bones get bigger? Well, we're not giving it back.
I colonize all this food that I'm eating.
No one's innocent in this.
The blood's on my hands.
And in my bones.
So, okay. Wow. It started with a very innocent question. How do Onyxes get bigger? How do Onyx babies grow?
Yeah.
And now I am feeling I need to go say sorry to a lot of vegetables and meat and stuff like that. Jesus. Wow. That was a good roundabout.
And cheeses, you said?
Yeah, exactly.
And vegetables, meat, and cheeses.
Okay. To bring it back to the campaigns, I will say, so the campaigns were always like a necessary evil in Age of Empires for me. Where I was like, I want to play this game more. Let's do the campaigns. And I will say the byproduct of playing these at a young age was it taught me a lot about history.
Yeah, 100%.
A lot about history.
100%.
Learning what a trebuchet is from this game.
Yes.
Like, I don't know what that is otherwise. Learning about the different civilizations and their history and having leaders and, working their way through the history of their major battles. Like, Joan of Arc was a big part of this.
Yes.
And it's funny.
William Wallace. I remember William Wallace. Genghis Khan. Mm-hmm. Genghis Khan rode around in a Dodge Viper after I put cheats in the game. And that's history.
I just remember having to press F a lot so that Alexander would weep because there was no more lands to conquer. F. He's weeping. Yeah, these are the kind of games that I really like. It gave me entertainment. It was a lot of fun to play. And along the way, we learned a little something too.
And we made some friends.
And we
killed some friends.
100%. Yeah, especially Genghis Khan.
Yeah, especially Genghis Khan.
Yeah.
Look, I want to leave a lot of time to play the game because I really want to flesh out our experience with Age of Empires 4. So if you want to watch along, you can join us over on YouTube or you can just listen. We'll edit that for you as well.
Yeah, you just keep doing what you're doing right now.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Don't change a single thing.
Don't tell us what it is. We don't want you messaging us, telling us what you're doing when you're listening to our voices.
Oh yeah, no, don't do that. Don't do that. But if you have any answer about Onyx, we're all for it. Okay.
Yes. We'll allow you to tell us what you're doing while you're listening. If you also tell us how Onyx grows without there being more rocks added to the planet.
Exactly. Like, Okay, now I'm starting to think about it again, and I'm getting very frustrated by this. So let's go play Age of Empires, and we'll get back to you right in a little bit.
What are you, leaving a fucking answering machine message?
Call me back.
Beep. We're starting. What do you want to go to the Art of War?
I think go to Art of War.
Strategies. You want strategies?
Well,
we don't want strategies. What are you talking about?
I want to skirmish.
We talking practice?
We're talking practice.
Yeah, skirmish.
There we go.
Fuck the campaign.
I can't wait to go, and then we're gonna start and go like, I have no idea what I'm doing.
I have no idea what I'm doing.
Holy Roman Emperor. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
cool.
kind of fun.
I would love to play as the Holy Roman Empire.
You want to do that?
Yeah.
So, okay, so this is, Mikey, nothing happens fast here. We got to look at the civilization bonuses.
Yes.
So, prelate available in the Dark Age, early man-at-arms available. Okay, that's good. Garrison relics are outposts.
I am so bored right now, Andrew.
Yeah, it's just,
Let's
Mikey,
start
this is part of the game.
Let's start clicking villagers.
No, you can't just click villagers.
I want to click a villager.
Enhance the economy of the Holy Roman Empire while powerful infantry units form the core of its military. Enemies must face an opponent able to rapidly recover from attacks and field strong counterattacks. Okay, so they have a little difficulty up at the top as well of how to play them. So like the French, very easy to play.
Yeah.
And also the style of play. Like French, aggression, cavalry. Can I help you?
Huh?
You on your phone?
What?
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I'm tweeting.
Let's do the Holy Roman Empire.
All right.
And then they will be, do you want to face, we'll face the Abbasid?
Let's face the Rus.
You want to face the Rus?
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't want Moscow to become a thing.
Gotta knock that off. And then map setup. Let's go to a gigantic map. Nice. European temperate. Ooh. Wow, that's kind of interesting. Oh, they have little pictures.
Well,
as
what is the
references.
Asian subtropical? That looks kind of cool.
Asian subtropical.
All
There we
right.
go. Location, starting teams together, random locations, cool.
Do we have Asian super tropical? I want to go
I don't
above
think
the
so.
tropics.
Maybe we need to unlock that. Let me check. Okay, let's do this thing.
So far, it looks familiar, baby.
It does. It looks.
Didn't love all the nerdy reading you were doing at the beginning, but
It does.
We got here.
Feel like the game that I knew.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So the win conditions: we need to destroy all the enemy landmarks, control all the sacred sites, or build and defend a wonder.
Oh.
Okay. So that's
So multiple ways, paths to victory.
Yeah. So like that's a really odd way of describing it, but I think if I just eliminate the other team, I think I'll win as well.
Yeah.
All the
destroy
enemy
landmarks.
landmarks.
That's fine. Or I guess you can play a more defensive style. That's kind of neat. I like that idea. I got to be honest with you. That may be the
Mikey,
path I go.
I demand your honesty.
Okay. And what are you going to do to threaten me, you holy Roman piece of shit? I'm cheering for the Russians.
I had a spy in my midst the whole time. Okay, classic Age of Empires. We are gonna pick some berries.
Pick some berries, baby.
Okay,
Or as the American documentary crew would pronounce it, barries. Because there's a place called Barry here as well, instead of a Tobacoke.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even think about that. Okay, so we're gonna get this scout off doing something.
Imagine,
Oh, he's off, okay.
Imagine being the scout and you're just like, go into the darkness.
Yeah.
And maybe end up literally directly in a camp. I don't give a fuck.
Especially as you like leave, people are gonna be like, yeah, there might be monsters out there. You're like, I'm sorry, what?
Oh, is that gold? I think we found
Yeah, there's
some
gold over there. So this, as I remember it previously, the most important things is you need meat or food to create more villagers.
Right.
So that's a thing that you put a priority on. Then wood to help build structures.
Andrew, did you just answer our Onyx question?
Holy shit.
Because there's a big thing of gold over there. Are you not that interested in that yet?
There's nothing in usually level 1 in which you need gold for. So
You don't want to put one person on it?
no, honestly, because we need to build resources right now. So honestly though, Mikey, I'm glad you're bringing this up because this is how I knew I love this game, but never a very good player at it.
Right.
Is that like at times like this, I would feel limited going like, well, what else am I supposed to do?
Yes.
I'm waiting for villagers to populate.
Meanwhile, people are measured in like strokes per second when they play
100%.
real-time strategy games. Like there's always something to be doing. We're just not smart enough to know what that is.
That's exactly it. Like okay, so I'm going to build a lumber camp out here because this is new.
Hey, that's right up my alley with this shirt I got on right now.
Hey, look at that.
And you got a toque that a lumberjack could wear.
Yeah, 100%. It's often I look at Mikey and go, man, that guy's a lumberjack. Okay, so this is different. Okay, so instead of advancing in different ages through the town center, you actually build a building that has different benefits.
Oh,
and that advances
and it's one
you
or
in there.
the other.
Yeah, and
so either building a palace or a chapel.
Yes. So the palace acts like a blacksmith. Technology research here costs 25%
That
less.
sounds effective.
Or the chapel inspires units in large radius so long as a prelate. Am I saying that right?
I think so.
Prelate is garrisoned. Let's go with the
Blacksmith. Now, here's the question: do we want a private jet eventually? Because if so, we should invest in religion.
That's also true. I didn't think about that. Okay, so where else are we going? Do we have any idle people? Yes, we have an idle person here. So
we have a couple idle hands. Jessica Alba's there.
Oh no, idle hands. So I'm gonna build some outposts.
Okay.
Let's think, like, we got extra wood right now.
Wouldn't you rather build the outposts a little farther away from town square so you have more room inside of them?
It's funny. The one big thing that you always see the AI do, which makes me think is the right thing to do, is they like sprinkle outposts all over their
within the village. Whoop.
All across their village. So
how much though, Andrew, when you're playing these games, do you actually memorize the keyboard shortcuts?
Enough that you'd have to think that, like, you can the ones that you find valuable.
Yeah.
Really, you know, like, it's kind of a boring answer, but if you think that there is a value, like somebody jumps on you,
Yes.
usually what I'll do is I'll have a couple shortcuts for different military groups. So like one will be like fast people, like cavalry.
Oh yeah,
and then
so
like 4 will be like
chase them down.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
Oh, look, in the top you see a bunch of red.
Oh, there
it
we
looks
are.
like our scout found someone. Oh, we see their city, and they're leaving the scout alone.
They're not. So
Let's take advantage of their.
Here we go.
Oh, are you gonna? Can this? Oh, I thought you were going to, as the scouts start killing some of the villagers.
If they were left alone, absolutely,
You would have.
100%. So okay, let's take it through this dark area here. But now we know. Hello.
Oh, there's an army coming. They've been building, baby, and we are. Okay, so there is a fight. We better start building more soldiers because we're being attacked by. It looks like double our forces.
Okay, let's get on set.
Can't you ring the bell on
I thought that's what that did, but it didn't do anything.
Well, we're trying to ring the bell on the town square. Which usually brings all the villagers in.
Uh-oh, we're gonna be in trouble here.
We're in big trouble. We should start making forces as quickly as we can.
Yep, we should.
Got a bunch of archers on the way. Do we have cavalry?
Yep.
Horsemen. That's good.
Uh-oh.
They could be the horsemen of our apocalypse. Now, traditionally, they're retreating.
They're retreating. They got what they wanted out of it
That
because they
is-
know they can't probably take the whole thing down.
Andrew's building some archers.
Yep.
Maybe some men at arms.
Yep, we're gonna get
Some
another
spearmen.
round of men.
And we're about to lose most of our archers. But we sent him a message.
We sent a message that
That message was, we can slaughter sheep.
Okay, we're gonna build a lumber camp there. That's something we're learning. How's that walls going, guys? Great, good job, everybody.
Walls are going up fast.
Walls are going up very fast.
We can build a damn wall, that's for damn sure.
Yeah, that no one can deny.
And then maybe we build walls on the other side.
Yeah.
But it feels like the walls would be great right now if we were going for more of a defensive thing. Granted, they are sending some scouts and some parties to us to just kind of test us.
I think it's gonna be that it'll give us just time.
Yes. And
Now
we're
we got
we're amassing more of an army. We got people collecting gold. We've got
Feeling-
more of an army being built.
Feeling pretty good right now. I can't wait to be very wrong very soon.
Yeah, they came at us hot and heavy.
Yeah, very hot and heavy. It was so hot.
It was pretty hot.
So hot.
I like the fact too that we built the walls around a forest that we probably do need to eventually.
Well,
collect the
hopefully
lumber
we
from.
could just keep going south, and then
Yeah, yeah.
they never figure out that they can go around this way.
Well,
So-
actually, there's a wall that we could build in between two mountains that might
Yes.
save us some time on the southwest side.
Yep.
Now we're strategizing, and it also gives us more room to build and expand and grow.
Oh, Mikey, your mouth's God's ears. I love this.
I mean,
Wololo. So, do you want to build Burgrave Palace as acts as a barracks to produce 5 infantry at a time?
we're under attack.
Never mind. Ooh, that moves.
Oh, we're under attack, not our scout. Well, our scout was scouting. They were sending their armies out to get us. Thankfully, we've been building some people, and I think we're protected. We should be
It's gonna be tight.
Yeah, we got some You know what? Send a couple horsemen over to the archers.
Yeah,
if you can get
good
past
idea.
everyone. Not even building, just from what we have.
No, we got to get more going though. We're gonna
Yes.
lose them all. Oh boy.
Oh shit! Yeah, they are all of our villagers.
Stay inside for a second.
We got a gate that opens like a fucking Western saloon door.
Okay. Huh.
I say we stay inside the walls. They've got a pretty big army. Right now, this feels like a Friday the 13th situation where we know the killer's outside and we just hope it doesn't find a way
Yeah,
inside.
I know. Like we're in so much trouble right now. Okay, we are overcoming
making
this.
short work of these guys now.
This
These
walls
watchtowers and walls.
I think the second we should just build stone on the outside.
I was going to say maybe even a massive counterattack because we got them retreating now. Although they're probably continually building.
Yes.
It seems like that's their tactic. They don't like us, and we don't know why. We don't know what we did to them.
What did we do?
We chose a giant map. Really? You guys need to take it out on us?
Let's see what else. Keep defensive garrison unit. Yes.
Oh, we're setting up a garrison where they used to have their town.
That's perfect. Gets us a little bit closer. And actually, if that's a castle, which I believe that's what it is, they're such a pain in the ass to deal with.
Yes.
Okay, so let's do this, and then we will collect you. Okay.
So our siege workshop is starting to spit out some soldiers, which is great.
Yeah. Let's just keep moving forward a little bit.
I wonder if we would have been better off building more barracks so we could build.
I think so.
Double the people.
Usually, I build 2 or 3 of each of them, but we were trying to see like, hello. So you're collecting gold to somewhere. We just got to find this camp.
Yeah, there's villagers that we keep finding. We don't know where they're going, but we also keep finding outposts that these motherfuckers.
I have been loving the audio. It's been.
Oh, it sounds great.
Hey.
So it does look like there's a forward post that they're actually that's just outside of the wall. So we're pretty close. But if we can take a couple of their,
let them. You know what? So what a good strategy to do at this point is the trebuchet's attack is so long that they could probably get to the walls from here. Let them come at us.
Yeah.
And then
why don't you set the formation to X like a more of a phalanx thing,
like the wedge formation, like this?
Well, that's the opposite of what we want because that's putting our archers in the front. Why would they do that?
Why would they do that? Let's just do a flat wall. Come on, guys.
This is the most satisfying part of the game.
100%. Okay.
So the trebuchets, you're right. They can fire very far away. We're aiming for their gates. Does take a long time.
Okay.
Their gates look to have been upgraded as well.
Let them come at us.
What are those?
I don't know, but let's get them.
Do they have traveling? It looks like the villagers are traveling with like mobile houses.
Split them in 2, and let's get them all done.
As the trebuchets.
This is my favorite part of the game in the way that, because when you're on the other side, you know how bad this feels.
Yes.
Where you're like, oh no.
All of the effort and time.
One more.
I would keep those villagers away from the watchtowers until we get rid of them.
The problem is we have so many people. Eventually, they're gonna have to go.
No, see, let them see. Oh, so they really don't have a lot of people, eh?
No, they really don't. Let's go after these guys. You guys stay back here.
Why are our guys speaking German?
I'm not really sure what's going on here culturally. And to be honest, in a lot of ways, I won't ask any questions. A win's a win, and I'm just going to accept that.
You have a trebuchet that's not firing.
I know. I don't know why he keeps getting collected with the other. You know what? Just attack them while we're figuring this out.
Oh, town center. That's a good idea.
Yeah. Let's cut off the heart here.
It feels like there's not long for these guys to last.
It's a matter of time at this point. They're delaying the inevitable.
Are we still building an army just in case?
I actually
set the rally point to right outside the gates.
I actually don't think we are, to be honest. Good call, Mikey. I won't give you credit.
Okay. Nor did I expect any.
Yeah. I don't respect you, but I acknowledge your presence.
Just like it's Christmas morning.
Okay, looking pretty good here.
But set the rally point to the gates.
Oh, good call. Mikey with another good idea.
Which, if you were paying attention, I recommended earlier.
We'll see.
Oh,
Okay.
that town center.
Town center's down. Let's go after...
Do you feel bad, Andrew?
Honestly, not at all.
Yeah, they did this to us first.
I might feel the opposite. I feel good.
I feel great.
Yeah.
I would love to pillage, I think.
Mikey, who attacked first?
They did.
So, just saying.
Not very well, though.
I'll give you examples A through Z right now on how they did not do a
Destroyed
good job.
landmark, fully repair to restore.
Oh, so that's why. That's why we're seeing the remains of
you
them
can
last.
repair them and probably save some resources.
Oh, that's really cool because that makes actually a lot of sense. Because you wouldn't destroy the whole building,
right?
You destroy enough and then use as your own.
I mean, if I had a choice, I would just kill the villagers and keep the building standing.
Right. Yes, of course. You're ruthless like that.
Yeah.
So that's the wonder. So why don't we advance age just as
no, we can't do it. Yes. It is very cool that one of the advancements is making 5 armies or like five units at a time. Like that's one of the things.
That is really cool. Like mass training. Hello.
There's
you guys focus on this.
There's another town hall.
Town hall.
Is that a gate in the center of their? Oh no, that's like a barracks.
The
maybe.
Golden Gate, an economic landmark.
Oh well, hey, guess what, landmark? We're about to fuck you up.
Boom. This Golden Gate Bridge is gonna fall, which I hope doesn't happen in San Francisco. It seems so lovely.
Well, if it does, I'm blaming you now. Hey, destroy all the enemy landmarks.
Fantastic.
And we did.
We won.
Okay, my turn.
Okay, shut the fuck up. Well, hello. And
can I talk now? Oh, sorry, you just told me. You said to shut up. Sorry. No, you go. You do the.
Is it my turn now?
I'm not here to step on anyone's toes.
Perfect.
I was asking because I didn't want to get in your way. So you introduce us.
Okay, so I'm starting in 3,
2, and go.
No.
Oh, you were just. No. Oh, I thought you do the countdown.
No,
3, 2, 1, and go.
No. Why would you say and go? Okay, say and go this time. No, say and go this time.
Okay.
And then that is the last thing you'll say.
Yeah.
No, is it the last thing you'll say?
Yes.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
And go. And that's the last thing I'll say. You told me to say that part.
No, you need to take my words literally.
I did. That's what I just did.
No.
You said that's literally what I just did.
No, don't say that's the last thing I'll say. That and go.
Uh-huh.
Then at this point, this is me speaking, okay?
Okay.
You will not say anything else.
Okay. You should have said that to begin with. Those are much less complicated instructions than what you gave me earlier.
Right. I should probably write a script for you.
Okay.
Yeah. Which, like, we're not scripting this, wink. 3, 2, 1.
And go.
And welcome back to the Retrograde. My name's Andrew Bascom. With me, as always, is my delinquent friend, Mike Yaronway.
Delinquent. It's not the most insulting thing someone said to me today.
No, what was the most insulting thing someone said to you?
Get the fuck out of my coffee shop.
What'd you do?
Okay, listen. I didn't understand there was a dress code to this coffee shop.
Was it lumberjack?
It was clothes.
It was clothes. Oh, you were naked.
I mean, I hadn't had my morning coffee. Don't expect me to get dressed before my morning coffee.
I won't do anything before my morning coffee
Literally
other than be
nothing.
a bear.
I was walking into the coffee shop this morning, actually, and there were these 3 construction workers, like, casing the joint. Like, just looking in there like, I don't know, fuck it, go in and grab your Jimmy's coffee. This is how they spoke.
I honestly, construction workers do this all the time. I also work in, like, hospitality, so, like, working at places. It's always a guy with his hands up to the window looking inside like, we're unlocked, just walk in like a human being. And it's like, I don't know. Like, it's not there's a cover at the door. Like, just check it out.
Like, fogs up the window and like, are you there?
Like, knocks on it a couple times. Good structure on this window.
They were casing the joint, and one guy goes in. He's like, "Fine, go and get your Jimmy's coffee." Jimmy's the coffee shop I always go to. I love it.
Yeah.
They didn't kick me out. They let me be in there naked. And this construction worker outside, he says, he's like, I ain't paying $3 for a cup of coffee unless they put blow in it. And I was like,
holy God.
Yeah. I was like, well, why do you think there's a lineup? And he was like, you're telling me there's blow in there? I was like, I'm not saying anything, but I'm saying that Jimmy is a friend of Pedro.
Yep.
Pedro.
Pablo. He likes to party.
He likes to party.
Jimmy likes to party.
Jimmy likes to party. And then he fucking loved it. And he hung around until I got out so he could talk to me again.
You should have stuck around long enough to see him snort hot coffee into his nose. See him scream in his like weird construction dialect.
Yeah, he's like, and then as I was walking in, this is true. As I was walking in, he was like,
"This is true."
No, this is true. This is true. I know that means nothing when I say it, but this is true. As I was walking in, he's like, "So you're saying it's good coffee?" I'm saying it's great coffee, and that we should buy a boat. And then It was good.
We need to open a bar on a boat. Yes. Okay. So we just played Age of Empires 4, obviously. And
You played. I was kind of your little finger.
Stadler and Waldorf. Yeah. Littlefinger is actually a good comparison. Yes. Because you were just in my ear like, sir, shouldn't we attack on the left side?
Sir, the villagers are saying that we need more troops to the northeast perimeter.
Yes. Also, they're up to real sexual escapades. Would you like to hear about that as well? In a second, Littlefinger. Yeah,
By the way, I'm really getting into my role. I have castrated myself.
Which, of course, is not Littlefinger. We know. Don't get at us. Okay.
Yes, that's...
what's his name? Man, we loved that show, and we cannot name...
Not Voorhees. Yeah. Varys.
There we go. Yes. Jason Varys.
A Varys memorable name.
So we played... So you're right. You were in my corner. So I went right back to when I was 12.
Yes.
I was like in just a tunnel of like, now this.
And you masturbated 3 times.
Yeah, speaking of not wearing pants. Like it was just like, you get lost in it. So having Mikey on my shoulder going like, don't forget about gold. I'm like, thank you, gold, yes. Right, gold, thank you.
It honestly probably does help having that. Like you should almost like set reminders on your phone.
Yes.
For like just double, like every 20 seconds it goes off like gold. This.
Yeah, little angel and little devil. One would be resources, one would be military.
Yes.
And all they're doing is whispering.
I was the military.
You were, but devil. You know what? You probably saved our life in that game because of that.
I think, you know what? Yeah, for sure.
You're allowed to just accept a compliment. You don't have to like.
No. I'm not just accepting it. I'm consuming it. Like inside, I'm a pit of butterflies in a good way.
Pit of butterflies.
A pit of butterflies.
Like they're dead?
Remember when we played Outlast and we stepped on all those baby skeletons?
Oh, God, yeah.
That was a pit of baby skeletons. I have a pit of butterflies in my stomach.
Oh, what happened to them?
Well, if you put a butterfly in a tummy, it turns out they don't last very long. In a tummy.
Oh, stummy. Little stummy.
I put them in there, and then it turns out if you don't poke holes in the tummy,
breathing,
they die.
Yeah. We slap a sticker onto your stomach and it says live animals. Be careful, fragile.
Yeah.
So we played as the Holy Roman Emperor. Yes. Empire, excuse me.
Which spoke German.
Yeah, that was a little odd. So I will say I think you'll hear me say in the episode, but the audio in the game is really interesting.
It's great, yeah.
And it's very localized, so it like gets quieter to louder as you scan over the map. And it builds in intensity as they go to battle, and you can hear them chant and like really disgrace people that are running away, which is very funny.
It was funny. At one point, you were moving your entire army towards their gates.
Yes.
And you came across like one guy on a horse and you killed him and the whole army cheered.
Yes.
And I was like, that feels unfair.
That's hilarious. They got bloodthirst right now. Yeah, they're looking to battle.
Have a little bit of remorse, humility. Act like you've been there.
Act like you've been there. Just first of many. And there's a guy making a little stitch on his horse, like one. So we talked about all the pitfalls that, speaking of tummies, that this game could have gone through in a remake of trying to recreate a game that people liked and slightly improve on it.
Yes.
And all the ways that it could screw it up. I will say, as an overall statement, it did feel like a better version of Age of Empires 2.
Okay, so I was going to ask, it does feel better. Can you articulate what you think felt better about it?
Sure. The graphics...
Or is that too difficult for your pea brain?
What the fuck? What are you coming at me for?
I don't know. Maybe it's smart. Maybe it's a better game.
It's a construction workers.
Yeah, I'm back, baby. I haven't had my cocaine coffee yet. Well, that's why they call it the cocoa bean.
Oh my God.
What?
$3. He thinks cocaine is in it. Yeah, like the understanding of the price of cocaine. Like it's like, is it made of gold? It's $3. They didn't say $30.
So what if I misheard him and he was just saying cocoa? Like,
but he had the accent. He's like, they might as well put coca in it.
I was like, oh, you just want some mocha.
And then we're like, you got to get a boat. He's like, very good for you, sir. I guess whatever your life.
Drive it down the chocolate river. I don't know.
Augustus Gloop. Yeah, I got
a great imagination. I never wanted to be a construction worker.
My name is Charles Dahl. I am the grandson of Roald Dahl. This is just a passion of mine. What made it better? Like, obviously the graphics off the top, you're like, yeah, just instantaneously made it better. The motion smoothing about the way that the characters engage with the environment,
yeah,
and the way that you can build in the environment, I thought was really interesting.
Yeah,
it feels you know, never for a second is this game supposed to be like, I think this world exists. You know what I mean? It's not supposed to be like in a new modern game where you're like living in the world. You're like,
Right.
I can't believe this
Right.
is computer.
Nor would you want to be like,
No.
like, hey, listen, we just got attacked. You should go check in with the bartender at the inn and see
Yeah.
how he feels. And then the bartender's like, I had a mother once. And you're like, fucking hell, dude.
I need 3 fishes to tell you that okay. But, and at the same time, you don't want that level of control because you have, at times, hundreds and hundreds
Yes.
of units. You don't want to find out like, okay, this unit needs to individually slice this way and then go like,
Right,
no,
right.
they have to act as a group think to a certain aspect. So the way that the unit engages inside of the environment,
Right.
that is the most important part. And it felt not more realistic, but it felt more engaging in the way that they actually traverse the land, which I thought was a really big
That's
improvement
awesome.
as well.
I mean, it looked great, but I at times just completely forgot we were playing Age of Empires 4. And I mentioned this in the gameplay, but you know, we didn't give the campaign a huge shot, but I never played Age of Empires 2 for the campaign either. I just kind of liked the skirmish. And that could have just been because, you know, when it came out, I was too young to really care about. Did you play the campaign in Age of Empires 2?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So like, and it was one of those things where it's like, I played the skirmish till my eyes bled, and then I went, I don't know what else you got in this game. I'll do the campaign. Whereas like, I'm
Kind of the opposite as what most people would do.
100%. You just wanted to keep doing the like world building side of
Yes.
it. And then when you play the campaign, usually it was incredibly limiting.
Right.
Whereas like you have to do this and this and this. And well, I don't want to do those things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't forget to build 5 cavaliers to attack okay, I guess, but I wanted to build spearmen. You know?
Yes.
So you never thought about it too much in that aspect. But what I do appreciate is it was never like you had to with the campaign because to unlock these civilizations, these maps, or these anything,
Right.
it was completely ancillary to just saying, just do it if you want to.
Right.
I hope and fear that is also not part of this game, but it doesn't seem like it. And so I would like to try the campaign because it feels like one of the things that would easily be improved.
And also those little things that you and I were kind of sitting there like, I don't know how to figure this out, like about shortcuts or what does this mean or what does that mean? The campaign, if done right, will often give you those tools as part of the gameplay process that you could then take away and be better at the skirmish.
Totally. Like I'm thinking about the questions we had, like the sacred sites. What do we exactly do? Even though that seems to be one of the triggers for victory these times.
Yes.
Some of the trading with the markets, that was kind of like, wait, okay, that doesn't matter. You know, and the other one too is like, this was our first game playing it, you know, the skirmish. You get so, you know, tunnel vision, I think that was the words you used, which is actually really accurate, about like just going towards victory. You're not like smelling the flowers and going like, I wonder what this does.
That's
you know?
what I loved about Black and White 2. The game Black and White 2. And I'd love to do that game on this podcast at some point because there was, you know, it was a real-time strategy game, but you could win by, you know, building sites. And you could do that in this as well. It was like build certain sacred sites and build and defend different wonders or whatever it was, similar to the Civilization game. And that was more about building a city, having an army that you could use if you wanted to, but it never felt like that was the only path to victory. And I know that wouldn't be the case if we got better at this, because I'm sure in the campaign, it's like, you're not going to win this one by attacking them. They're going to be attacking you, but you need to defend it. And that may cue me in to be like, oh, that's how I want to play this game from now on. Always be defensive. Know they're going to attack, but build watchtowers before you build a barracks or something like, you know what I mean? Like just kind of get it to the point where you're gonna be okay here. They can try to attack you, but build a great wall outside and don't let them come in. And that interests me a lot. I'd like to give that a shot.
No, for sure. I'd like to try that too. You know, this is obviously left a huge impression on me, you know, as a kid and now playing the modern version, which is really exciting. There are so many versions of like this that came out as well that were, you know, different variants of this. And I'd like to try more of them as well.
Here's what I'll ask you, because we talked about some of the ways that Relic could have messed this game up. Did you get any sense that they did that in this? Did you feel any of that?
No, like, you know, other than initial, like, oh, this is different.
Right.
You know what I mean? And instead of improving individual units, or like we were saying, like when we were talking about the walls and improving the walls on site, which doesn't make a lot of sense when you think about it logically.
Right.
Like, it's not like you have a wood wall and you go, let's build rock around it. You know what I mean? You'd have to build a new wall entirely. That is like more inconvenience things, but that's okay. That's just part of the new game. I can't really fault it for trying to try new things.
Right.
Excuse me. But no, but it feels like a good combination of little things as well. Like advancing ages.
Yes.
Instead of just clicking advance age and then, it skips time, you
Choosing
actually
the direction you want to go.
100%.
By building a new building.
Exactly.
It's awesome.
That gives you new benefits.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Instead of, because otherwise, once again, logically, that doesn't make any sense. You just advance age, now you're like, new things for everybody.
Yes.
No, you get a new building that, acquires new,
Right.
whatever, technological research and things like that. So that I found that to be very interesting as well. I didn't trip on anything really, really big, which
Right.
is exciting.
There was a little bit of the garrisoning tactic felt different in this one, which was weird. Sending them to specific buildings rather than just calling them all to the town center.
Yeah.
There may be a way to do that we just missed, but it does also kind of make sense. Send some to this building and some to that, and they'll shoot fires from the shoot arrows from the watchtower. And I have a question though, because we talked about how much you loved Age of Empires 2 and how Age of Empires 3 was good, but you kind of fell off of it a little bit.
Yeah.
Age of Empires 4 comes around. You're saying that it feels pretty much the same, but a little bit improved. Relative to your score that you would give to something like Age of Empires 2, how does this stack up? Is it better or worse, or is it objectively better, but still can never capture the magic of something like Age of Empires 2 because it came out when it did?
Yeah, well, without giving my total score right now, it is in the conversation of 2 or 4 at this point, where I think 1 and 3 have just kind of skipped away and kind of faded into the distance, as 2 is really the best version of it.
Yes.
And 4 is now more of a spiritual successor to that. And so now we are kind of talking between those two things.
Right.
Which in itself is a victory. You know what I mean?
100%.
The fact that you are comparing it to the best version of it is great, and probably was the goal in the first place.
Yes.
Right? Is it better than 2?
Well, why don't you use this then to lead into your review?
Yeah.
Because we could talk around it so much. Usually, as we mentioned, what we do is we rate the game as we remember it back when we played it, and then in the modern day, and it's 2 separate ratings, each out of 4 bits for each of us. Because we didn't play this game back in the day and it is a modern game, we're going to change it up a little bit, and we're only going to give it its modern score out of 4 bits for you, out of 4 bits for me. So Andrew, why don't you go ahead and give this game its rating out of 4 bits as it holds up in the modern day?
Okay, so like I was saying, Age of Empires 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. This is trying to recreate that magic in a modern version. And it's just so funny because we look at so many other games where we recreate something. And what? A game I was thinking about is the Crash Team Racing.
Oh, yeah.
It could not have anything to do less with this game. But
unless you get the Dodge Vipers cheat.
Then you're both riding around in the car trying to destroy people.
Around in the car.
Is that you took a game that was so of the time, and then you just improved it all over the place by giving it incredible controls, incredible graphics, and you're like, holy shit, this feels like a modern game.
Yes.
With Age of Empires, you can never have that jump in technology.
True.
Because at that point, if it was like incredibly modern and you're like fucking putting on a VR helmet, it would lose the magic of what made the game fun in the first place.
The simplicity.
100%. So you're grading on a curve to a certain aspect because the improvements can only be really minute that would have a huge impression on the overall gameplay. Whereas you can remake any other game and just perfect graphics and you're like, holy shit, this is amazing.
Yes.
And it's so easy. You're already ahead. So even before you play the game, this is a little bit harder for that. That being said, I think the improvements are so good. I think it modernizes the game. It changes enough to make it feel like a new experience, even though, as evidenced by us playing, you pick it up and you're immediately back in there.
Yeah.
There's a few little bit of learning curves. That's totally fine, but you can totally play the game immediately again.
Right.
And in that way, that's a huge victory. I really love this game. I thought it was so much fun. It brought me back exactly to when I played the game as a kid. And, in a lot of ways has more comparisons with the Tony Hawk remake.
Okay.
It just took something we loved and said, "Hey, we're going to give it to you in a modern version,
a new coat of paint.
but we're not going to change too much."
Right.
And in that way, you're like, "Thank you very much. That's good." I don't want them to reinvent the wheel. I just want them to give a version that I really like. There is improvements, but they don't change everything too much, and I don't think in a way that makes me want to punish it. I absolutely love this game.
Okay.
And I will buy it in a heartbeat.
Okay.
I am going to give this a 3.5 out of 4.
Amazing. 3.5. I was wondering whether you were going to go with the big F to the O-U-R.
Well, you know what? I'll explain why.
Yeah, please.
Too, is because it isn't like with the number of civilizations, with the number of maps, with the number of things, it is just an expansion of the second one. Really, at this point.
Yeah.
If someone could give me an explanation on the many different ways it doesn't, I respect that, and that's really good. But at this point, it's just taking something I love. But if I have to, for a second, think, am I going to play 2 or 4?
Yeah.
Then it can't be 4.
Right.
It can't be a 4 out of 4, excuse me. It has to be a 3.5 because if it's even competing with an older game, then why even do that? I think 4 is up there. It's going to be so much fun. I can't wait to play it. But the fact that they're still competing, just give it a little bit notch less.
So if you were to play, if you were to just go home right now and play a real-time strategy game, would it be 2 or 4?
It would be 4 just because I want to explore all the corners of this game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
you want to send your scout out into all the darkened shadows.
Collect all the sheep and you know, come back. I think if I come back and I tell you I played a lot of this game and like I might have to amend that score to 4, sure. But at this point, since they are so on the surface,
yes,
I think a 3.5 is really respectable. It's a really good game.
I hear you on that. And this is one of the things that I've struggled with going back to playing some of these real-time strategy games that I played a ton of when I was a kid, and especially these more simplistic versions, something like a Command and Conquer, something like an Age of Empires 2, that doesn't have as much of the forward-thinking campaign of these are the limitations. You know, everything I talked about before the gameplay, something like the Lord of the Rings game that was more about set pieces than it was about base building. As much as I loved that as a kid, and as much as I chased that dragon to look for that feeling again, when I go back and play it, I love it. But even when we're sitting here experiencing Age of Empires 4, for me, I'm like, this is great. It's a very faithful adaptation of Age of Empires 2. How much time am I going to spend with it? I don't know that I'm going to spend a ton of time with it. I love those last 15 minutes when you're just like running over the enemy army. But all the buildup kind of starts to feel a little bit samey to me. And it's in a way that I can completely understand why someone would like that structure. But to me, I feel like I'm looking for a little bit more. However, everything plays perfectly with this game as you'd expect it. I feel I've just kind of grown past what this game is as much as I want it to be limited and I ask for it to be limited. I play it and I'm like, okay, this does feel a little bit limited. Like, you know, remake Pong, because I loved how Pong felt. And you go back and play it and you're like, this is kind of simple. I don't know how much time I could spend with it. I appreciate that it's there, but I'm not going to spend a ton of time with it. I'm giving this one a 3 out of 4.
Okay.
Still a good score, but it just isn't the type of game that I'm going to be fiending to go back and play.
You know, and I think what's really fair about that is this game is out. And how much are people talking about it?
That's, I mean, it goes to kind of what we were talking about in before the gameplay, where people think they want it, but do they want it, or do they just want to capture the feeling they had as a kid? Yeah, even though that's fucking impossible. You can say that's what you want to do, but it's like, you know, every diminishing returns, whatever it is, we were different human beings back when this came out originally. And I don't think we're ever going to feel the same way playing the same type of game. Yeah, no, I think that's totally fair. Yeah. You know, and so there you go. So that's a 3 and a 3.5 for a 6.5 out of 8, a totally fine score for a totally fine game. Like, it's great. And you know what? We can use this as a comparison to some of the modern scores that we've given other games. Age of Empires 4 with a 6.5, Boogerman got a 2.5. Outlast got a 6, Fear got a 6, and so 6.5 is very good. It's a very good score. Rare that things get better. Psychonauts did, though. Simpsons Hit and Run, obviously, because that's as close to a perfect game as you could possibly imagine. I'm curious, though, to go back to our scores from Age of Empires 2. Oh, interesting. And see what we gave those. Okay. So, Andrew, in your... Is a 4 for sure for me. The current score? No, the old score was. So, the current score... So, the retro score for Age of Empires 2, you gave a 4. Yep. 3.5 in the modern day. Okay, there we go. I gave for the retro score a 3.5 and a 3 in the modern day. So wow, very comparable game. Consistent, and kind of exactly what you'd expect. It just turns out that like here's the difference. Okay. When Bill Gates is doing his AMA. Yes, of course. Classic. And Mikey logs into Reddit and says, give us Age of Empires 4. I'm not promising him that if they knock it out of the park. Yeah. I'm not promising him that if they give me exactly what I'm asking for, it's going to be a 4. Yep. It's still something I want. Right. But not everything has to be a 4. They did exactly what they set out to do. And it got them a 3.5 from you and a 3 from me. And that is great. That's great. Not everything can be a 4. I don't want everything to be a 4. No. Actually, I do want everything to be a 4. That would be fucking amazing. That'd be amazing. That's great. I'd be just so happy all the time, as opposed to so happy none of the time. Oh, right. Yes, exactly. Yeah. It would be a great improvement to my day-to-day. That'd be huge. Great success. But still, it does what it set out to do, and I commend it for that. It didn't go overboard with the new implementations of mechanics and systems. Gave it a fresh coat of paint in what I was hoping for. The sound design, as you mentioned, was awesome. The frame rate was awesome. And I will definitely go back to it. I just don't know how how much time specifically I'm
Oh
gonna
yeah,
spend.
like let's not be right. I'm gonna play this game all the time. Like this is great.
Yeah.
I can't wait to play this game. I just think it's like the idea of being necessary if you're not going to take huge strides. You know, that's more of a question. That's more of like a meta contextual question about just gaming in general, or creating art in general.
Meta contextual. Hi, I'm Andrew. Welcome to school. I'm a meta contextual Professor Meta,
Yeah, Professor Stinkbomb,
aka run our test.
Oh yes,
Stinkbomb.
yes, yeah. The homogeny of the meta contextual gaming. You know, it's more of an argument of art in general.
Yes.
Why we're so we fetishize and give so much value to nostalgia.
Yes.
Like, you got to look in the mirror eventually and go like, do we need this? Was this a better use of their time and money than giving us a brand new game that could have advanced something?
You know what it
I don't
is
know.
to me? It's that old fable of the dog with the steak in its mouth that sees a steak in the water and tries to bite it and realizes it was just like you can never get that steak in the water.
Exactly.
Just accept that what we have now is good enough.
Yeah.
Look at that steak and say that steak looks fucking great. It's glistening.
Yeah.
But as soon as you reach out and try to grab it, it disappears. But that's what nostalgia is.
Yes.
You cannot recapture nostalgia because it can only be as strong as it is when it exists in the past.
100%. Exactly. And like, the only way we're going to move forward is if we start trying to do new stuff.
Yes.
And I love this game. I'm going to play this game a lot. But what did this game give us that we didn't have previously? I don't know.
Not much.
Yeah.
Not much, except for a new excuse to play an old game. And I'll take that.
Twist my arm. Like, I am all for this. So I really enjoyed it. I can't wait to go back and play it. It's gonna be a ton of fun.
Yeah. I love it. I love it.
Okay.
Andrew.
So with that being said, oh wait. Oh, the band's warming up.
The band's warming up.
Oh my God.
Okay. Oh, we got to give it some awards. I mean,
Okay.
it's going to be a weird one because it's kind of asymmetric with only the current score. But let's let the band cue us in.
Okay.
You've been waiting for it all year. The most glamorous award ceremony of the week. Ladies and gentlemen, the Grady's.
Oh wow. Beautiful. Just incredible.
I mean, that song is your ringtone, right?
Yes, it is. Yes,
I was
100%.
I was going to say.
Yeah. The choir of the Woololos. They're coming on in a little bit. I'm excited for that. See them warming up in the
choir
back.
of the Woololos.
The what are they called? The
Acapella?
Mormon Tabernacle Choir or something like
Jesus.
that.
Is that a
There's
thing?
hundreds of them. Yeah, it's incredible.
They're probably fantastic.
Oh no, they're unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like I'm not here to.
Why don't they knock on my door?
Yeah, just hundreds of them in the hallway.
Yeah.
The force of sound that would come through there would knock you off your feet.
You know what would be amazing?
What's that?
If the Mormon Tabernacle Choir sang songs from the Book of Mormon.
Yes.
What a way to own them. Like, just be like, yeah, we get you're making fun of us, but check it. And then,
Oh God. No, you know what? Supposedly that was actually like a big thing, where is that like a lot of Mormons went to that show and they were like, well, you got everything right. So like they weren't mad at them because they're like, they stuck to what they believe in, even though they're having fun with it. They're not lying about it. You know what I
That's
mean?
funny.
Which
Yeah.
is good. I
Good-
think that's
good on them for
maybe
saying
one
it.
of the nicest things you can say. You know what I
when
mean?
it comes down to it, as George Michael said, you gotta have faith.
Yeah.
And if they have faith,
Yes.
who can take that away
George
from
Michael, devoted Christian. Yes, George
Yes.
Michael. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. So, okay. So Elliot. you
Elliot
coming
looks
on?
great dressed in his monk's gowns.
Oh,
Or
yes.
his priest's gowns.
Yeah, whatever.
I don't know, one of them.
Sounds good.
Why
Sounds good
don't
to me.
you reach into those robes? If you no.
No. Hey, okay.
Just
Yeah, that's
grab
what
out
you're
the
doing
envelopes and tell us what awards these won. Oh, pass them over to us because we have to read them because they're
Oh,
custom
yeah.
awards. Yeah, so
Okay.
pass
All right.
one over to you, Andrew.
there. Thank you very much.
I've got mine here.
Okay.
It's the Relic Entertainment Award because
Yeah.
Age of Empires 2 is quite a relic, and Relic did a good job of bringing it into the modern day.
Okay, there we go. Okay, mine is garrisoning nostalgia. Garrisoning nostalgia. Oh, it's because it's just a lot easier to feel safe with something you know.
Oh,
Well, there you go.
That's nice.
It's a good and bad thing. It sounds like too.
yeah, it sounds
Okay.
well. Hey, look.
Come.
Oh, I threw mine away as well.
Oh, Letterman.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
threw mine the other way.
Okay, good. Well, Elliot's got more stuff to pick up. Oh my goodness. Age of Empires 4. That was so much fun. It was so much fun playing a modern game. We'll come back next week with another retro classic that you can help us here break apart.
Here's another thing as well.
What's that?
We're looking for ways to change and grow the podcast as we do, and we find that these modern games actually get quite a bit of traction.
Yeah.
If you guys are interested in us covering maybe one modern game per month or something along those lines, let us know. We can maybe even do more of an in-depth analysis of it, like spend a bit more time with that game specifically, or not. Or you don't change anything.
You let us know, because we'll actually come back with another Retrograde classic, another retro game next week, but sprinkling in some new stuff. And if you want some other stuff other than retro games, you can go to patreon.com/Retrograde Podcast, where we do lots of things. We just did the Dune review that we talked about recently. We got some more exciting stuff.
Halloween recap, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And the last thing, and most importantly, guys, we haven't been seeing as many reviews coming through lately.
Yeah.
If you haven't rated and reviewed our podcast on iTunes, it helps us so much. We want to grow. We want to get on more people's radars to build the community for you, so that when you interact with us on all the social media channels, at Retrograde Mikey, at Retrograde Andy, at Retrograde Pod, there's more people there. There's nothing wrong with that. Make sure you head out to iTunes. If you're on your phone right now, do it right now.
Yeah, do it right now.
Do it right now. We'll start looking those up and reading them for you guys on air. How about that?
Yeah, absolutely. We see how many people listen. We know there's some more reviews out there.
Hell yeah, babies.
So yeah, please help us out. But until then, we can't wait to talk to you soon. We love every single one of you. And we can't wait to talk to you next week. My name's Andrew Bascom, and with me as always is the bad boy of podcasting, Mr. Bebop himself,
Mikey Aaronworth.
This is the Retrograde Podcast.
Game over.
Whoa!
Thank you so much for listening to the Retrograde Podcast.
We look forward to recording this podcast all week long, and we hope you guys look forward to listening to it.
You know how we got into retro video game podcasting? For the money and the babes? We're really in it for the ratings and reviews.
Money is ratings. Reviews are babes.
Please subscribe, rate, and review wherever you enjoy podcasts.
For any business inquiries, you can always email the retrogradepodcast@gmail.com.
You can find us on Twitter at RetrogradePod.
And you can find Andrew on Twitter at Retrograde Andy.
And then Mikey at Retrograde Mikey.
Instagram at the Retrograde Podcast. And remember, find us on Patreon, patreon.com/the Retrograde Podcast, for all of your non-essential but very much enjoyable content. We don't ask that you give us much, apart from joining our Patreon. But what we do ask is that you join this community that we've grown. Also, give us some of your blood.
I want some of your hair in a bag. Thanks for listening. From your two dads.
Furnished by Sad Styles Productions.
I'm mainlining some Age of Empires on this week's Retrograde.